But first, today the special master, Judge Raymond Dearie, in the appropriately titled case of Donald J. Trump versus United States of America, issued a 2.5-page order that indicates the processing of the non-classified documents in the case appears to be moving smoothly, with Donald Trump's lawyers agreeing with the government lawyers that several documents they have already analyzed are not protected by attorney-client privilege or any other privilege. But tonight, according to reporting in the New York Times, the Justice Department faces the possibility of having to obtain more search warrants to search more Trump properties for more stolen government records and classified records. The New York Times is reporting that the Justice Department suspects what everyone else in the world suspects, which is that Donald Trump still has more documents and that he has not turned those documents over to the government. The Times reports a top Justice Department official told former President Donald J. Trump's lawyers in recent weeks that the department believed he had not returned all the documents he took when he left the White House. According to two people briefed on the matter, the outreach from the official, J.I. Bratt, who leads the department's counterintelligence operations, is the most concrete indication yet that investigators remain skeptical that Mr. Trump has been fully cooperative in their efforts to recover documents. It is not clear what steps the Justice Department might take to retrieve any material it thinks Mr. Trump still holds. Well, let's see. They tried asking politely for over a year, and that didn't work. Then they tried a subpoena to get all the remaining documents from Donald Trump's Florida residence, and that didn't work. And then they got a search warrant, and they only searched 2 rooms in a very large residence, a basement storeroom in Donald Trump's office, where they found classified documents in his desk. And that is not his only desk. Donald Trump has a desk in his Manhattan home at 725 Fifth Avenue. Donald Trump has a desk at the golf club in New Jersey, where he spends most of his time in the summer. Donald Trump obviously likes having classified documents close to him so that he can wave them around and show them to people, as he has reportedly done. Would Donald Trump leave all of his beloved classified documents in Florida when he goes north for the whole summer? If a heroin dealer had 3 residents with 3 desks, would the FBI just search the Florida one and just assume the heroin dealer would never take heroin with him for the summer and keep it in his New Jersey golf club, and he would never take heroin with him to what used to be the home he lived in most of the time in Midtown Manhattan, the place where he has lived the longest of anywhere he's lived in his whole life? The New York Times reports that the Trump team of lawyers disagreed on how to respond to Jay Bratt's communication to them, and that the Justice Department does not believe that they have retrieved all of the documents. Quote, the outreach from the department prompted a rift among Mr. Trump's lawyers about how to respond, with one camp counseling a cooperative approach that would include bringing in an outside firm to conduct a further search for documents, and another advising Mr. Trump to maintain a more combative posture. The more combative camp, the people briefed on the matter said, won out. The question on this Friday night is, how combative is the Justice Department going to be?